all through the stories and songs, the whispers late at night in taverns, the bedtime yarns told by exhausted parents to wide-eyed children, through the history tomes and the plots of kings and queens, one thing weaves its way through them all like a red thread, connecting the hearts, minds, and ambitions of people everywhere. Treasure. One tale of treasure has slipped in and out of vogue for the last several years, often being dismissed as pure fantasy. It's said that in the small fishing village of Stanlow, on the western coast of the kingdom, in the province of Valenhai, there resides a great fortune. Whether this is gold, gems, or priceless artifacts is uncertain. The story changes depending on the teller. And again, it is always dismissed as rumor and hearsay. Until now. A mysterious benefactor has vouched for the treasure's existence. A call to thievery has been placed. And in the early morning light, 3 individuals, all with their own dreams and desires, find themselves converging on the sleepy village of Stanlow. So as the 3 of you find yourselves coming in along the road, you begin to hear the morning bustle of a marketplace setting itself up. Stanlow is not a large town, but there's enough people here that you can kind of hear them from a little ways outside the city or the town proper. And as you begin to kind of come in and get glimpses of different people moving back and forth and whatnot, they're setting up market stalls, there are fresh fish being brought in from the fishing boats. It is a fairly normal day for a small town. Coming into town first is a dragonborn walking amongst the halflings and the gnomes that mostly populate this town. Tamara, would you like to describe your character, please?
Sure. So Rami is a copper dragon and has recently decided that she does not believe in the politics of serving the dragon lord that runs her clan's noble family, and has since left. She has some understanding of the basic skills needed for thievery and has practiced those throughout the castle, but never in a real-life application. She is looking for a new clan or group of people to call her own, but at this time has not found that.
All right. Coming in a few feet behind, not having met yet, but coming in along on the same road, another curious individual for the fairly gnome, halfling, human population that makes up this town, in a tiefling. Rina, would you like to describe your character?
Yes, so I am Lili, and I am a tall purple tiefling, which is very rare even where I come from, but makes me a curiosity, which I use to my advantage. I am a sorcerer, and I am a bit of a grifter, though nobody really is supposed to know about that, so just keep it under your hat. I managed to convince people to give me their money. I don't steal. They give it to me. I just ask. They might not be happy about it when I leave town, but they still give me the money. So Lili is, she's a purple tiefling with pink hair and amber eyes, and she's got blue dragon scales running all up her arms, up her neck to her face, because she has her draconic ancestry. And one of the interesting things about Lili is she wears very fancy looking clothing for places like this. And she has wrist braces for support that are silver with these blue scales running up them. And she carries a walking cane with the head of a dragon. There's nothing suspicious about this cane, nothing whatsoever. It is just for support. Nothing to be worried about here. Nothing here. And she is off wandering the land, looking for treasure, looking for money, looking for the next big adventure.
All right. The two of you kind of wind your way into the central marketplace. You see each other, but don't know each other, and therefore, kind of give each other a wide berth. And there begins to be a little bit of a hustle and bustle and whispers as people are kind of looking over their shoulders. Now they've been looking at the two of you and kind of, oh, okay, interesting, dragonborn, tiefling, not common. You see coming up over a hill a very tall figure. Tall even compared to the two tall people that just came in to the town. Jasper, would you like to describe your character, please?
Yeah, I'd love to. So, my name is Blaven, and I am a tall even for a furbolg. I have so lovely pinkish and blue features with my long cow ears. You currently see that I have mostly adorned with fur trappings, odd bits and trinkets all over that I've collected, and I have a large barrel strapped to my back, where I put some of my goods and wares. There are daggers, bows, all sorts of things dangling off of me. But you do notice as I get a little bit closer to the town that I just seem to sneak behind one of the trees. And emerging from behind the tree, you see an old-looking man, a wizard-looking man with a hunch. And he also seems to have a large barrel over his head, and his head appears lower as I come into town by the guise of Trent Sternfoot. Hello.
I would like you to roll a stealth check.
Yes.
To just see whether or not you got behind the tree and out.
First roll of the game.
First roll.
Okay, so it's a 3, but I got a +7, so that's a 10.
So it's a 10. Okay, okay. A lot of commoners aren't terribly perceptive. The two of you, however, do catch the shape of some tall figure and then some other figure like coming out from behind a tree. Like, it's hard to tell 100% whether they just kind of hunched over or what. You didn't get a really good look at him before he was coming up, but seems a little interesting. So, as you all find yourselves now, the three of you kind of perusing the different market wares and coming into the main central marketplace of the town, you do know that the summons that you were given said to meet your benefactor, whoever they may be, at the cottage north of the market square. So, what would you all like to do?
Well, now, I'm going to be heading in that direction, but I'm going to give these other two a wide berth, because they look a little suspicious to me. I'm not sure what they're doing around here, but until I know, I don't want to be anywhere close to them, just in case.
I'm definitely eyeing the two of these. I'm like, this is strange. Can I do like a little scan just to see if they've got any potentially rare items upon them?
Yeah. So you're looking specifically for like magical items and stuff?
Yeah, like magical items, weaponry that looks particularly fancy, something like that. Would be
sure.
cool.
Roll a perception check.
Hello. That's better. That's a 17.
17. Okay. You look them over. The tiefling is, very well dressed, especially for these parts. And it's not outside the realm of, comprehension that some of these items on her might be magical or at least worth a pretty penny. The dragonborn as well seems well put together, and you catch the glimpse of maybe a weapon or two underneath a cloak. But don't get a specific bead on anything.
Sure. I'm gonna wind my way through the town, make sure that trying to be as vigilant as possible, make sure I'm not sort of being eyeballed too hard, and then make my way towards the cottage, I think.
Okay. And Rami, are you heading that way as well?
Yes. Rami doesn't necessarily fear other areas or other races just because Dragonborn typically are given a wide berth as it is. He feels fairly confident about proceeding right to the goal. and seeing that the other two, perhaps otter races that have joined at the same time, happen to be giving her that berth, and she decides just go for it.
Okay,
Straight
so
up
you
the
just
cottage.
walk up
Straight
towards
up.
the north, towards, and there is a kind of a little ways past the buildings. There's kind of set in a little alcove or cul-de-sac, a small cottage with a little bit of a ramshackle look to it. And there is a moment as the three of you, one of you kind of going straight there, the other two giving wide berth, kind of sneaking around, but then your paths converge, and there's that awkward moment where you're trying not to walk together, but you're all headed to the same location. And you find yourselves standing
come here
now
often.
near the door.
Well, would anyone care to knock? I assume we're all here for the same reason.
Well, I certainly hope so. Lily's just going to rap on the door with her cane, just in case. She doesn't like touching doors. She's had some bad experiences with magic doors.
All right, so rap. No immediate reply or noise.
Well, this is suspicious.
I might just give it a little round the side. Might just give it a little look. Maybe look see if I can peek in through a window. If there's a window at sort of street-ish level.
There is. For you, you're bending down quite far. This is a smaller house that seemed, again, kind of built for halfling size. You would imagine, but there is a window to the side. And yeah, go ahead and roll a, I'll say perception or investigation.
Okay. 16.
16. Okay. You kind of bend down and look through the slats of this window. Inside, it's dim and there's just stuff everywhere. Like, it's like a hoarder type situation. There's like things piled up and shelves, and you see, these little alchemical things on a table that are kind of smoking, giving off little fumes. And you do, kind of looking around the corner a little bit, you see a pair of feet that are kicked up and resting on a box. But then the rest of the body is obscured.
With all of these curiosities, Rami's very curious to see what just is around her and if there's anything perhaps of value.
Okay, on the outside of the house, anything of value,
Again,
you're saying?
anything that's, as you're saying, there's all these curiosities inside.
Sure. So Blaven has gone around to look. Are you kind of peeking over his shoulder, or?
Yes.
Okay.
Also,
Go ahead and roll a perception check.
6. I can't see things.
6. Okay. Hard to see. This guy with his barrel is just kind of like taking up the whole space, and you're trying to peek around and look in, and you can't see anything. No.
See anything interesting in there, my friend?
Nothing particularly. It appears to be something of a hoarder's haven. I hope the pair of feet I saw up were still attached to a body that was, alive and kicking. I think perhaps, and I'll give it a harder rap on the door and, excuse me.
All right, so you rap hard on the door, and you do all of a sudden hear like a crash of something from inside, and then and you hear like this bustling and things moving, being pushed aside, and the sound starts to get closer and closer to the door, and then you begin to hear as a dozen or so locks are undone from the inside of this door, and poking his head out, you see a figure with straw white hair and a small cap on top of it, with a pair of goggles still kind of on his eyes as he's kind of looking around, but he pulls them down to reveal glasses underneath. And it's a young looking, except for the white hair, halfling man, and he pokes his head out and he's like, "Oh, hi, sorry about that. What can I do for you?"
Well, now, we got a letter. At least I assume the rest of y'all did as well, but I certainly got a letter telling me to come here and I might find something worth my while. Something about a treasure.
That letter. Right. He opens the door all the way up. Come in. If kind of looks at how big all three of you are. If you can, I suppose you'll have to duck a little bit. Sorry.
As I make my way through, the barrel at the top hits like the doorway, and you just hear it.
The three of you squeeze into this small space. The halfling man closes the door and kind of locks all 12 locks again, all the way up, and turns back around. Oh boy, I sent that out a while ago. I had completely forgotten that I had put out that call. But thanks for coming. Yeah. Can I get anyone tea or spirits or anything?
Something strong would be wonderful.
Please.
Tea? Strong? For you?
Strong. This seems to be quite the adventure.
Alrighty. Okay. Back, and he kind of disappears around like into a back room. And yeah, as you're standing in here looking, like it is floor to ceiling with materials and parts and metals and herbs, and you're looking around and you do start to realize there's a bit of organization to everything. And it all seems to be alchemical supplies, herbalist supplies, engineering materials. This is some sort of mad scientist just haven right here.
Yeah, I'm gonna drop my disguised self.
Okay.
Sort of stand up fully. Oh, jeez, that was much longer than I expected. Right, what have we got here? And I'm just gonna immediately start looking around the little potions and stuff, trying not to break anything, but just like fascinated by everything that's going on.
Yeah, roll investigation check. The two of you see this person change into a full-on furbolg here for the first time.
That's a 12.
Okay.
Lily raises an eyebrow at all of this, but she's not particularly surprised because she's a magic user herself and she's used similar spells. She's just like, "Oh, that was an interesting choice."
Do I see the upraised eyebrow?
I don't know. Are you being sneaky about it, Lily, or?
No.
Probably, yeah.
I wear all my expressions on my face where everyone can see them because I don't particularly mind.
I'm just gonna turn around in which case and just be like, "What? We've all been summoned here to steal some stuff. You can't expect us to all be walking around in broad daylight." What's it?
I certainly do. Hasn't caused me any trouble since.
Oh, fair enough.
It's all about the finesse. All about the finesse.
After a moment, the little halfling man comes back out, and he's kind of, in his hands, got 4 completely different teacups, like from all different sets. One of them's missing a handle. Sets one down for you, Blaven. It's like, that's the tea. Puts one down for Lily. That's stronger. Puts one down for Rami. That's stronger. As you sip the tea, Blaven, he definitely mixed these up. That's strong.
There you are. This is yours.
Oh, did I?
Yeah.
Sorry. And he kind of does some switching and gets everyone their proper drinks.
Still a little strong, it'll do.
Right. So, the item. Yeah. Okay.
Do you mind if I have a seat if we're going to get into this whole long, long exposition?
Anywhere you like. Just grab a chair.
Yeah.
And all the chairs are full of stuff.
And tiny.
Lily,
and tiny.
Lily finds the biggest chair and just sort of uses her cane to knock the stuff off of it, and then gingerly sits down.
Okay.
Sits down with a deep...
Sorry, DM, did I get anything with the 12?
Nothing specific. You do see that there's plenty of interesting looking potions, but from what knowledge you have, most of them seem to be like in the creation phase. Like you're not sure what they are because they're still being mixed.
Sure.
So he sits down and he goes, right, names are a great place to start. Why don't we start with names? My name is Hoki Makreb. I am a purveyor of interesting items and a collector of knowledge and information. And that is why I have called you all today to help with a very specific collection. But you all, my very tall, colorful friends, who are all of you?
Well, now, I'm Lili. That's all you need to know, really?
Nice
Okay.
to meet you, Lili.
Charmed, I'm sure.
You guys can call me Blaven. Well, I guess we'll just do first names, yeah?
I only have the one name.
Oh, I should have
Blaven.
only given my first name. Oh.
Too late
I
now.
only have one name.
Oh,
It's kind of,
fair.
it's a little bit rude to think people have more than one name. Like, just because you have 2 names or 3 names, I've met people with 50 names, doesn't mean everybody does.
Nope, that's fair enough. You've called me out of my inherent biases there, and I do apologise.
No,
Spread the names around.
Indeed.
let's just go with Rami.
Right.
Rami, okay.
Right.
Well, I suppose I didn't say in the letter that this would be a better job for, no offense, but smaller folk. So that's on me. That's my fault. But you're here, and
Do you have
appreciate
something against taller beings there?
I have nothing against them. I think everyone is wonderful and brings unique things to a team. Have you been downtown? You're gonna stand out, like, big time.
I'm fairly used to that, if you haven't noticed.
As long as you can handle it, that's okay. This is like sneaking and subterfuge, and so not standing out is how I would have thought it would have gone, but maybe you have a different way of doing things. I'm not a thief. I don't know.
DM, tell me if I could do this. This is just for flavor.
Yeah.
But I would love to be able, if I could just use like a little bit of my my Furbolg's hidden step, just to make my hand go invisible for a second.
Okay.
Just as like a little party trick.
For sure.
Yeah, if I could. So I'm just gonna. Yeah, we all have our strengths.
Oh, that's clever. How do you do that?
I'll tell you after you give us more information as to why we are all here.
Oh, right. Okay. So there's a thing that I need. And it's in a place that unfortunately I've been unable to get to.
That was very specific, thank you.
Yes.
I was thinking the exact opposite, actually.
Yeah. I get that. On the hill, he kind of points out towards the eastern side of the town. You can't see anything at the moment, but he kind of points that direction. There's a big house. You may or may not have seen it when you first came in. The person who lives in that house, his name is Lord Riandym.
What?
Now, he gave himself that Lord name. Don't know why. Well, I know why. He's a pompous ass. But
That might do it, yes.
he and I have had our differences over the years. And there was a particular item that I was commissioned to make for him that he then took and paid me for, but that's one of those things. It's like I did a good job with that one, and I kind of, it's hard to make again, and he's not really doing it, using it for anything, super helpful, and I just kind of want it back.
How dangerous is this item before we go any further?
Oh, the item itself is very benign.
Oh, right. I just want to make sure if I don't touch it, it's going to explode or something.
No. I mean, it's good. I mean, it'll pick you up, but it's not going to explode.
Pick you up. Right.
Right.
What is this item?
Oh, well, when rolled up, it's, probably, when he kind of goes up to his own head height, probably about my height when rolled up.
All right.
And how does this relate to us specifically? You mentioned something about the great treasure. Like, that's personally why I'm here. I don't know about my fine colleagues here.
I'm sure he's got all sorts of gold and everything in there as well. You're welcome to take anything you want if you bring back what I need.
All right, but what are you then offering? Obviously, because, I'm just saying in this situation, there would be nothing to stop us going up, paying this gentleman a visit, helping ourselves to the gold, and then being on our merry way. You do understand? You know, I think in the letter you'd mentioned that you had some considerable wealth yourself. I'm personally quite interested in some of these potions you've got here.
I have an item or two that I could perhaps throw in to the pot, as it were, if you were to bring back the carpet unscathed. So yeah, and one or two items to even perhaps help you as you're on your way in. The reason I need people like yourself, I'm small, but sneaking isn't my speciality, and he has hired some other magicians who, see, they know my magical aura, and they kind of have this like barrier thing, and like I set off an alarm anytime I go in, and so it's kind of specific to me because, like I said, we've had our differences, but he doesn't know you.
So, could you tell us something about these other magicians? Any kinds of magic, or what we could expect?
Oh, this was like 3 years ago. He hired some people to come in. He enchanted all sorts of stuff.
All right, so they're not actually there. They just enchanted the house.
As far as I know.
So, I think correct me if I'm wrong here, Lily, this is what you're getting at. We're talking security. What are we going to come up against in this scenario?
Oh, I have no idea. I haven't been able to get close enough to see anything for 3 years.
Aha.
Okay.
This
is there
anyone
in town, perhaps who might know?
Perhaps.
Oh,
He doesn't host dinner parties.
Yeah, okay. Anyone that works up there, maybe? You guys have staff? Big house like that?
I'm going to be honest, friend. I haven't even really been out of this house very much in the last 3 years. He kind of just looks around at like the mess that's around him. But someone in the town will know.
All right.
What does access to this house look like? You mentioned it's up on a hill.
Right. So outside the edge of town, up on the hill, there's the large mansion where Riandym lives. It's on a bit of a, there's a bit of a walkway to get out to it. And it kind of begins to describe these like sort of island columns that are out at the edge of town, and the house is built on the end of one of these. And then there's bridges that kind of go from island column to the main town.
Okay.
And what does this character look like? Is he human? Gnome? What does he look like?
Like her. He points to Rami.
Oh.
A dragonborn. Now this is interesting.
Yeah. All right.
What type of dragonborn?
The mean type.
Well.
And you've seen Lord Riandym. What color does he represent?
Oh, color. Oh. He was like, I guess you would consider it red, but more of an orangey red.
Excuse me, Rami.
That mean anything to you, Rami?
Yeah, I was just about to say, yeah.
Perhaps.
So you being a dragonborn and growing up in those circles would know, the different chromatic scales of the dragonborns. Provide different types of abilities. Red or red adjacent dragonborns are fire breathers.
And generally not the nicest temperament.
All right. That's comforting.
I am familiar with hotheads. It won't be a problem.
I do have another question. Is there any anything you can tell me about his personality? Any is he like you said, a hothead? Is he intelligent? Is he any flaws, anything we could potentially exploit?
He's been kind of the landlord for much of the town for the last 20-30 years. I think he's an arse, and I think that he is arrogant, and I think that he is selfish, and I think that he doesn't appreciate the skills that I put into this carpet. And why even have a carpet if you're not going to ride it? And he just keeps it locked up, and he's just like getting like angrier and angrier as he's talking. Kind of settles himself. Sorry.
I mean, you know, do what you got to do, man. Yeah, you've got baggage here. I get that. Well, the main thing for me would be payment. Look, I'm sure these
whatever you can find in his house when you're there is yours to take. If you bring me back the carpet, you said you wanted potions, right?
Well,
anything useful?
Learn a little bit from you, potentially.
Okay, I can write up some scrolls.
All right.
What type of? What's your specific interest?
Generally anything like transmutation, that kind of thing. Never been able to crack any spells beyond my innate nature, so it'd be interesting to possess any of that, you know, power through potions, etc. would be very useful.
That I can do. He kind of looks towards you, Rami. And for you, what would be your incentive?
Would you have potions that can let me do what he does? Pointing over to Blaven.
With the little hand trick?
The hand trick, or even the barrel trick.
Maybe. Yeah.
Wildly fascinated.
Yeah. I could cook that up.
Thinking being a smaller character.
I could cook that up. He turns towards you, Lily, and you.
Anything related to disguising or invisibility. I'm very interested in those things in my line of work, you understand.
All right, so we got people who just want knowledge and information. I love it. This is fantastic. I'm so happy that you're not here for gold.
Sorry, did we not?
The gold is in the house. The gold is in the house.
No, obviously we'd need some payment, you know, obviously. I don't think we're all just saying knowledge, you know. We're not running a school here, are we? So, you know, will be some, you know, some gold, obviously, you know.
Make a persuasion check.
Damn. That wasn't what I wanted. Okay. 15.
15? Okay. He kind
Not
of
bad.
looks up at you and kind of looks at the rest of you and he's like, okay, little gold too, yeah.
Excellent.
Is there anything you can offer us to assist us in our mission? Anything that might make it a little bit easier?
I have an idea. And he reaches up and his coat is covered in pockets, but they're all like flat, like they don't look like they're full of anything, which is a little interesting because everything else here is completely stuffed to the brim. But he unbuckles the top pocket and grabs it and pulls, and you watch this like accordion type extension come out, and all these different segmented pockets inside the main pocket, each now stuffed to the brim, as in a similar manner to like a bag of holding or something. He has, you know, opened
Pocket of holding,
basically.
Pocket of holding.
Yep. And he begins to kind of root through them almost like a filing drawer. Okay. Yes. Here we go. He pulls out the green potion. Now this, if you have to make a quick getaway or do a lot of things really fast, this could be helpful. It's a potion of haste.
Well, now we're talking.
Oh, do you want it?
Yes, please.
Okay.
I'll take that thing.
Okay. And then he pulls out two more these potions of healing in case you get into any scrapes.
Yep.
I just have two right now. Sorry, I know there's three of you, but there you are.
That'll help.
I have some bat droppings, but I don't know that that's going to be helpful unless you want them.
No, thank you.
Okay. And he kind of
Good spell casting component if any of you can do the old, hand wavy, make fire type stuff. Worth checking.
Lily's hand just lights up, just like with her innate fire sort of thing. It's like,
Yeah.
you mean like this?
Just like that.
That's another cool hand trick. Do you have a hand trick?
Unfortunately, no.
Oh, that's too bad.
Well, we cannot all be equally gifted.
No, but I've got one. And you all find yourselves standing in the marketplace.
What?
We could use some teleportation.
He's
It'll be
not
helpful.
there.
It'll be
It's
helpful
just the three
if
of you.
It'll be helpful if we need to get out of town quickly. We go see him. Maybe he can snap us out of town once we finish this mission.
Yeah. I am definitely going to punch him in the head, though, for transporting us here without any prior warning. That was not okay. I did not ask for that to happen.
You are also in your furbolg form.
Yep, exactly.
And
Not
the
pleased.
townspeople are definitely looking at the three of you all grouped together, these tall, colorful, foreign characters.
Mm-hmm.
They're little
Lily flashes her most charming smile at people.
Yeah.
Okay. Make just a charisma check.
Okay, that's the one thing I'm good at. 19.
19. Woo! Okay. You, very easily are kind of like, flash a smile, head tilt, kind of like give a couple words to a couple people, and they're, people are still looking, but they seem to be warming up and being a little more friendly to you.
I'm just gonna quickly see if I can grab the two of my new colleagues and just. I'm wondering whether perhaps we use this to our advantage. See if we can gain an audience maybe with this lord. I feel like sneaking in is not exactly going to be the easiest thing to do based on size and also location of this place.
You mean a firbolg and a dragonborn and a purple tiefling ain't just going to be able to sneak right in to someone's house? You surprise me, my dear sir.
Yeah, well, who'd have thought.
Thankfully, it is a dragonborn's home, so at least we won't have to be crawling in.
Exactly, yeah. I'm looking forward to not having to do that. I think I've got a crick in my neck from that last one. Alright, well, let's see what happens. I'm going to sort of turn to like the townsfolk and say, we are here on an errand to seek out the lord of this town and deliver a fine message of great import, as well as some very fine goods. If there's anyone we might be able to speak to gain an audience with this lord, it would be most appreciated. And I'll just sort of play with a little coin over my knuckles, and if anyone has any information, there's gold in it.
Roll a persuasion check. Oh no!
I was going to ask if I could give him the help action by
As
adding my persuasion in there, but not with a 1.
Already rolled. Yep, already rolled. So you are addressing the crowd. As soon as you say the lord of this town, you realize you're starting to lose people. Like the smiles and the looks of curiosity kind of change to disgust, and people start to turn away, and you're got a coin going, you're trying to get their attention, but you've lost the crowd.
I get the feeling he's not very well liked in this town. I mean, he is a landlord, so that might have something to do with it. But
well, we could just start a full-scale rebellion and charge them up to the old castle. That'd be easy, wouldn't it?
I'm not quite sure how helpful that would be. I mean, our boss did say that he'd prefer us to sneak, be a little bit more stealthy.
But our boss also doesn't look like he's left his house in about, 7 years, so, trade-offs.
Well, how good are you at fomenting rebellion, my good sir?
Yeah, not something I've tried before, so maybe let's stick to the sneaky plan.
Right.
Should we perhaps find somewhere that's less out in the open before we go discussing our potential plans for how we accomplish this task?
That might be ideal.
All right. Can we find perhaps maybe a tavern, a tiny, low ceilings tavern?
Easy enough to do. It's a small town. It doesn't take much asking around to get pointed towards the Carp's Head, which is the local tavern. It is built with doors human-sized. You do see some humans as you're walking around in the town. It's not completely small folk. But when you go into the tavern, there are, variety of tables. There's a couple of human-sized tables, but then most of the tables and chairs are more halfling gnome-sized. But it seems to accommodate people of varying heights. The bartender who is behind the bar is a human man, and he kind of waves at you and offers you to sit down. He's got kind of a shaved head and like a big, thick beard. But fairly slight himself, not too burly.
Well, now, what are we
we
going to do about this little conundrum?
Yes, indeed. Just as a quick scan, to make sure we're not going to be listened to. I'm gonna make a point of like checking under the tables for any small people like that might be spying.
Make a perception check.
Come on. Oh no. It's a 5. It's a
5. Okay.
Yeah.
You bonk your head on the table as you're trying to look underneath it. Everybody, you're getting side eyes from the handful of people who are in the room. No one's like actively like staring at you, but they're kind of giving you the over the shoulder.
Perhaps we use that to our advantage. If they're clearly interested in us, why don't we see if they'll be willing to talk to us?
Well, as long as it's someone talking to them other than Master Fearbolg here, I don't think that's going to go very well. No offense, Mr. Fearbolg.
No, I played my hand and it didn't go particularly well, so I'm fine not taking the lead on this next one. If you had any, well, I guess we should try and find some information about the this house if we can, seeing as our gracious benefactor had absolutely zero information.
Yes, he was quite helpful, wasn't he?
Yeah. Is there anyone like around us who I'm trying to think? Maybe like if there's someone like who's dressed in a slightly finer clothes, maybe, or even just sticks out a bit from the general townsfolk.
There's about 4 or 5 people here, and then the bartender as well. 2 of them are a pair of halfling women who are kind of sitting in the corner. They're middle-aged, just seem to be enjoying a glass of wine and talking. The other 2 that are kind of talking together are a gnome man and a gnome woman who are young and potentially on a date. Hard to tell. And then in the corner, there is a human man who is sitting there. And he is kind of got a bit of a cloak over his shoulders, which not everyone's wearing those right now. It's not like over his face, Aragorn style or anything. You can see his face. He's got dark skin and a little bit of a thin mustache and a little bit of a thin bit of facial hair on his chin as well. And he's not really paying you much attention. Like he clocked you when you came in, but yep, that's everybody who's in the room.
All right, well, does someone want to maybe go and check out that fella over there? He seems aptly suspicious enough to potentially have some answers to something.
It's the mustache.
It's the mustache.
Shouldn't have done it. I gave everything away.
I'm just going to go over with a razor and be like, trust me, this is for everyone's sake.
It'll be better for everyone if you just sit still.
Yeah.
So Lily is going to walk over there, like with her, walking stick and her very aristocratic sort of bearing, and like, excuse me, my fine sir, you mind if I buy you a drink?
Oh, okay.
You look like an interesting fella.
Thank you. He seems very, very taken aback. Very confused.
Bartender, can we get a couple of your finest whiskeys over here?
Don't have... I got the 1 whiskey, but yeah, 2 coming up. 2 glasses are set in front of you.
Well, if you've only got the 1, then it is by definition your finest, is it not?
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
So your companion takes his, and thank you very much. Oh.
I'm sorry for not introducing myself. My name is Lili. Who do I have the pleasure of speaking to on this fine morning?
Oh, my name is Jaden Croft. Well, I'm just kind of passing through.
It's a pleasure to meet you.
Although it's a pleasure to meet you too. But was passing through, but have kind of been here now for a few weeks. So I'm trying to collect some coin to get me on my way.
What brings you to this fine town?
Well, I'm making my way across into the heart of the kingdom. I'm trying to head to Excessa, the capital. I did not get very far before I ran out of coin.
It is most tragic how expensive everything in this country is, I do declare. So, what sort of skills do you have, my good sir?
Oh,
how are you earning your way through this city?
Well, I do a bit of carpentry, and help out on some of the fishing boats for the last few days, to make a day wage, which unfortunately just goes right back into my room and board.
It's a tragedy, quite a tragedy. Have you heard anything about the good lord of this town? Seems to be a very evasive figure.
Well, from what I've heard, good lord would be a bit of a stretch of that definition. You mean the dragon folk, right? And he actually does look over and clock you, Rami, as he says that.
Yes, I'm quite curious about how someone of that nature comes to rule over this particular town. Doesn't seem to be much others in the way of dragon folks.
You hear
quite curious.
You hear a snort from the bartender as he's cleaning a glass. Rule. But Jaden Croft kind of looks back and is like, "Oh, I mean, I think he owns most of the deeds for everything around here, and that, unfortunately gives him a modicum of power over people. Doesn't seem, from what I've heard, isn't the accommodating or compassionate type. When the times are hard around here, well, compassion is what people need."
Of course. And have you seen him? Have you been up near his mansion?
No, the boats have gone out. I've seen the mansion. The boats that I've been on have gone out around the island that the house is on, but I've not been up there.
No, of course not. I'm just curious, this is a fine town, but when I hear about something like town full of the small folks, and then you have one of the big folks running over things, well, I just want to know how that comes about, that's all.
And the bartender, you kind of, you see him, trying to not get involved. But he's just
Can I go over to the bartender?
Yeah.
I just want to go and sit down at the bar and be like, "Hey, listen here, friend. I get it. I understand. I come from a place where everything's backwards. No one can do what they really want. There's no passion, desire. It's all rules and this and that. It's not good. Now, what if I was to say that me and my two friends here are in the business of helping folks like yourself? And all we need is a little bit of information about this Rye man, whatever. I don't even know his name. Do you know what I mean? Right, yeah, that's it. Riandym. If you've got anything that you could offer up in the way of information, sure we could come back with something that might interest you. Perhaps a deed to your fine establishment here, so you would own it and no longer be beheld to this.
His eyes go wide at that, and he sets down the glass that he was working on and kind of leans in across the bar from you. And with both of you leaning on the bar, he's still having to look up. Yep. Get down here in the camera. But he kind of leans in. He's like, "That's not talk. That should be out and about. But between you and me, could you Could you procure my deed?
Look, listen. Nothing in life is free. So we will need a little bit of help, potentially. If there's anything you can offer, or if you would be willing to, perhaps, talk to a few people around the town, and when my friends and I call on a favour, then you'll be ready to assist us.
Assist you how?
Well, we've got to find our way inside this house, you see. So, I don't know if you've ever seen anyone go in and out. Do people go in and out frequently? Perhaps traders, people with stock, that kind of thing?
A couple of the servants who live here in town, a couple traders. The dragon ass himself comes in and out from time to time. Now let's pass you. No offense. No offense, man. I'm sure you're lovely.
Yeah, no, please don't insult the dragon folk over there. So does he come in regularly? No.
Once a
not
month,
on a
maybe.
schedule. No. Okay. And these servants, where might they be?
Oh, well, Elith lives a couple houses down, and she's the main housekeeper. And then Frank is kind of that direction. He kind of points the other way down the other way of the street. He does some of the landscaping.
Interesting. And okay. Just out of interest, one final question, my man, and then I will leave you to tend to your bar. If something was to, say, kick off in town, some big ruckus might occur, who would come deal with a situation like that?
I don't know. We've never had ruckus here in Stanlow. People just respect each other and get along for the most part.
All right. Well, just remember, might be calling on your services later. Just keep your ear out.
What services?
I'm just going to immediately start walking away and just leave him with that. Just leave him stewing.
Okay.
No, Lily's gonna finish her drink and pat him gently on the hand, saying, "You've been most helpful. I wish you the best of all possible luck as you make your way through this fine country."
Oh, well, what are you doing for dinner?
Well, I don't know yet. I can let you know if I'm free.
I just walk over and be like, I do believe we have a job to do. I'm just saying, as much as I would love, dinner and all that, just thinking,
I don't think you were invited, Blaven.
No, not me, but I'm just saying that we should probably be doing something else rather than going to dinner generally.
I said that if I was free, I would be available. I don't know if I'm going to be free or not. Depends on what happens now, doesn't it?
Well, I'll be here.
She flashes a very charming smile at him again and says, "I know where to find you." And she saunters back over to the table.
That guy is never leaving this bar, just in case. He is never going to leave.
Nope. Butt glued to the chair.
30 years' time, he is still sat there like, maybe.
She said she'd be back.
She said she'd come back. So yeah, I'll if they didn't already know, I'll relay what the bartender had said. What do we think? Wondering whether we try and sneak in with servants. We could try and cause a distraction. We could just bust in through a window and start grabbing stuff. It's up to you.
Well, now, I do think maybe we should try talking to this housekeeper. I don't think we could sneak in with the servants, considering we are obviously not them, unless you can disguise yourself as a halfling.
Oh, I don't know if I can go that small. Maybe a human. No offense.
Everyone kind of just puts their heads down, doesn't reply to you.
I think we should at least talk to the housekeeper, see if maybe we can get some leverage on her. Maybe like what you did with the bartender, maybe there's some kind of deed to her property or something that we could use to get her on our side.
Yeah. All right. Well, it's a potential idea. I'm thinking if we can find ourselves a way in, perhaps a service entrance that we could sneak through, or even just go in through the front door. You know, Dragonborn to Dragonborn. You never know. We might get admitted. Then I'm thinking if there's a way of us finding some of these deeds that your friend over there was talking about. I mean, the exit strategy could be quite simple. Just let everyone in the town know that they're all free now. They don't have to listen to this guy anymore, and they have a merry old time. Have a party. Maybe they roll up on the old the house themselves, and we just slip out. You know, hey, clearly a lot of animosity for him. That's all I'm saying. I think we could leverage that.
Maybe you can hint to your friend, the bartender there, that they might want to stock up on some pitchforks.
Pitchforks. Yeah, I like that. I like that a lot.
What do you think, Rami?
I'm not sure walking up Dragonborn to Dragonborn is quite the right strategy. Typically, we are very jealous of our horde, and I doubt he's going to willingly welcome another one of his kind in, especially when he's used that to his advantage over this town.
Right.
That being said, he mentioned a landscaper as well. Perhaps they know the lay of the islands.
So, should we split the party? Because that always goes so well. And talk to both of these fine folks. See if we can learn something to our advantage.
Sure.
Definitely not die early on in the adventure.
Yeah, all right. I'll go pay Frank a visit. That sounded way more intimidating than I meant to. I will not hurt Frank.
Frank had better be alive by the time we finish this little investigation here.
Understood. Yeah, Frank will be alive.
All right.
Rami, which direction would you like to head in?
Perhaps I'll follow Blaven, just to ensure Frank does make it out alive.
I suppose I'll go talk to this housekeeper. What was her name?
Elif.
Elif. Yeah.
Elif. Excellent.
All right.
Can I want to sort of, when we're heading that way, is there, you said there was obviously like markets. I'd be quite like to purchase a few little like odd bits if that's okay.
Sure. What are you looking for?
I wanted to get, if I can get like a small-ish mirror. And then I also wanted to get some fabric, like just some any like cuts of fabric.
Sure.
And if I can find flour.
Okay. The fabric and the flour, very easy. That'll set you back 3 silver for plenty of that. The mirror takes you a little bit longer. You do finally get a hold of one, but it is going to cost you 5 gold.
Is there a shop tender or someone I can potentially barter with?
Yeah. So the woman is a little gnome woman with kind of long gray hair that's been braided into a braid in the back.
So yes, my dear, this is the only mirror I've got at the moment, but to depart with it would really I'd need the 5 gold.
Oh well, yeah, completely. I understand. It's a fine mirror you've got there, and you seem to sell some fantastic wares. You see, I'm just a little down on my luck, and I really want to help you out, but I've only got 3 gold pieces. Is there any way that you'd do me the honour of just giving me a small discount? It really would mean a lot, and I will do my best to pay it forward if I can.
Make a persuasion check.
Okay, 16.
Nice.
11 plus 5.
That's very kind of you to offer to pay it forward, but that doesn't put gold in my pocket.
All right. Look at that! What a miracle! I found an extra 2 gold. There you are.
A miracle indeed.
I just throw it at her and take the mirror. And under my breath, I just hear, "This has not been my day at all."
She rolled an 18 on her insight check. So.
Nope, fair.
16 was good. Yeah, just
Yeah, fair. I can't argue with that.
So close. So close.
All right, well, you have your mirror.
I have a mirror, thank you.
Lily, you are headed to the direction of the housekeeper, who you see a young halfling woman coming out of the house that you're headed towards, and she is got a bundle of what look to be like sheets and different cloths and stuff that she has kind of like strapped with some rope and leathers and then slung over her shoulder, and she is locking up her house and turns to begin walking towards the direction of the manor.
Why, hello there.
Oh, hello.
That looks like a mighty heavy bundle. Could I offer you some assistance?
Oh, no, thank you. It's fine.
If you're sure. I just don't want you to get injured. I like helping people, you know.
Do this every day, but thank you. Have a nice day. Starts to walk.
Oh, can I ask your name?
Elith.
I'm Lily. It's a pleasure to meet you, Elith.
Nice to meet you too. Can I help you?
Yes, I hear you work up at the big house.
Yes.
I was wondering if we could help each other out, maybe. Do you like your job, Elith?
It's fine. She's really like, you've kind of accosted her in the street with these questions, and her guard is up.
It's just fine. Wouldn't you like maybe to never have to work again?
Working is good. It's good to keep your hands busy. I have to go. It's nice to talk to you.
Okay. And Lily's just smiling to herself.
She
watches him. So I'm going to walk off in the other direction and just sort of chuckling to myself and then duck down behind a few alleys and switch back, and I'm going to try to break into her house.
Okay.
Yes!
Okay.
Here we go!
Alrighty.
Here we go.
Roll a couple things for me. Start by rolling a stealth check to make your way back to the house without being, caught by anybody.
Hey, my stealth ain't great, but that's an 18, so...
Okay, that's enough. Yep, so you sneakily enough are able to get back. The door is locked with a very simple lock. The windows are shuttered and closed. You can probably bust through easily enough or try to pick. It's your choice.
Is there like a back door so that the whole street doesn't see me breaking into her house?
You go around the back, and there is a cellar entrance. Kind of one of those like slanted, kind of into the ground type doors. And that is locked as well.
Okay. So what would I need to roll to try to pick this lock?
Do you have thieves' tools?
I don't.
Okay.
I do have a dagger and a few other
So I mean,
things.
you could use the dagger as kind of a modified way to try to pick the lock. It'll be more forcing the lock than picking it. So I would say go ahead and roll a strength check.
Strength. Not something I'm very good at either. Come on, dice. You've been good to me tonight so far. Oh, 16 plus 0. 16.
16. With a little bit of... And which door are you going for? You're going for the cellar door?
The cellar door. I don't want a whole street of people seeing me breaking into someone's house.
Yep, makes sense. So you jam your dagger in, and you kind of find a point where you hear it hitting the metal of the lock. You bear down a little bit, and all of a sudden you hear a snap. And you think it might have been your dagger for a moment, but you pull that back, and it's got a little notch in it from where it hit the metal, but you see that the lock is broken off on the inside, and the door opens up.
I pat the dagger and smile at it because I've had this thing for a long time. It's never failed me yet. And I'm gonna slip inside and close the door behind me so no one sees the door swinging open.
Okay. So you find yourself in a small cellar that has, different kind of dry goods and some washing basins where it looks like she maybe does the laundry that she was carrying before. It's very small, like 10 by 10 type room with little stairways that go up into the main house.
So if it's just a washroom, it doesn't look like there's any washing or anything still left.
No, it looks like whatever she had been doing is she already finished up with and is carrying it back.
Okay, so I'm gonna try to go upstairs because I'm gonna go looking for anything that might help me with the house, like anything about location or extra keys. As she's the housekeeper, she would have a couple sets of keys, like anything I can find.
Okay. Go ahead and roll an investigation check.
Okay. That is something I'm good at. Okay, that is a 19 plus 3, so that's 22.
22. Okay. You begin rummaging about upstairs in the various parts of this woman's house. It's a very simple abode, couple rooms, bedroom, main room with a fireplace and kitchen supplies. There are no keys that you find anywhere. You do find a handwritten list that has a couple check marks on it, and it seems to be kind of a to-do list for her chores for the house. And so you see things like, linens, beating out the rugs, tidying the bedroom, like all these different things. And then at the bottom of the list, there is an item that reads, cleaning the safe.
Now this is interesting. So I'm gonna make a note of that. I'm not gonna steal the poor woman's chore list. I'm not that much of a dick. Do I find anything else in my search of the house?
Not that would necessarily give you any insight on the house. It's on the manor or on her job. So no keys, no other materials, just that list.
Okay, so I've got some ideas now. So I'm gonna.
You
gonna
hear
slip.
a key in the front door.
I'm gonna try to slip out back through the cellar.
Okay, go ahead and roll a stealth check.
Okay.
She's gonna have to kill this poor woman.
Oh, God, I hope not. I'm not a murderer. I just like money. Okay, 15 plus 0, 15.
Okay, that's right.
I'm never getting rid of these dice ever.
Okay. You, just as you're ducking down into the cellar, you see the door open, and just as she would have made eye contact with you, she drops her keys, and she looks down, and you kind of duck the last little bit. She picks them up, and from like a crack, you see her walk over and pick up the list and fold it over and tuck it into her shirt, go back out, lock the door up.
Well, now I'm glad I didn't take the list.
Yes. Whoa.
And I'm going to sneak out the back after waiting a few minutes to make sure she's gone.
Sure, easy enough to do. Blaven and Rami, you are headed to Frank's house, the landscaper. You find it's pretty easy to tell which house is the landscaper because it's the one house that actually has a little nice plot of grass out front that does seem to be fairly well curated. It seems he brings his work home with him. And kind of outside there is this gnome man who is got a little bit of a kind of a wispy goatee, blonde hair kind of on his chin, and like these bright green eyes, and he's just kind of very happily whistling and kind of going about, doing some seeding of grass in his own yard at the moment.
Well, here goes nothing. Frank, how you doing?
Do I know you?
You don't know me. It's Trevor. We're up at the house. I'm security. You know me. Come on.
Are you in Furbolg form?
Huh?
What form are you in?
Yeah. I'm in my Furbolg form.
Okay.
I'm like, yeah, I've seen you all the time. Thing is, I usually work up on the top floor, so I probably see you, but you probably don't see me that much. You know what I mean? That's probably what it is. Now I think about it.
Make a deception check with disadvantage.
That's fair. It's 13.
13? Okay. Let's roll for him real quick. Okay. I've never seen you in town.
Oh yeah, I don't come to town very often, you know. It's just no need to really. I've got everything I need at the house. But I'm here on official business. You see, we've actually got an esteemed guest today visiting the house, and I'll point over at the at Rami.
Kind of tips his cap a little bit. Hello, ma'am.
And I just wanted to make sure that everything was, in order up at the house, in terms of the exteriors, Just give him a little sort of everything up to top notch.
I cut the grass 2 days ago, so it should be in good shape.
But you'd probably be heading up there today, though. Just make sure that everything is, top, top tip top for our esteemed guests. The Lord would not be happy one bit if, there was to be a single blade of grass out of place.
Okay, so with that, I'm going to say roll intimidation.
Oh, no. Ooh! 21! Finally!
Okay.
Finally!
So you kind of lean in and with a smile, but with dead sincerity behind your eyes, tell him not a blade of grass should be out of place. And he, of course, yeah, no, I was headed up. I was headed up right now.
Yeah,
I gotta get my tools, but and he turns around and goes and grabs something from inside his house, comes back out, he's kind of holding, a pair of shears and kind of like a little gardening tools, and okay, and he heads up kind of at a brisk, almost trot.
Can I just, as he walks past, can I just give him a little, just like on his shoulder and just, you do fantastic work, Frank. And as he does that, I want to see if I can try and lift his keys.
Okay. So your hand comes down and encompasses his whole arm.
And I kind of, I can just kind of give him a bit of a pat, like, you do great work, Frank. Like, keep your chin up, mate.
Yep. Go ahead and roll a sleight of hand check.
Come on. 19 plus 3, 21. Let's
21.
go.
Okay. You very deftly, even with your large fingers, one pocket, two pockets, sweep around the back of the belt. No keys on this guy.
Huh. Oh, see you in a bit, Frank.
But you very convincingly know that he's not carrying anything.
He doesn't have any keys. Okay.
Yep.
I'll just wait for Frank to head up the street. Just eyeball him just in case he looks back.
He doesn't.
And then as soon as
that was
he's
a good
gone,
intimidation check. He's gone.
He's gone. I'll just turn around to Rami and just, oh, look, I told you I wasn't going to hurt him. Should you have a look?
We should.
We are so good at this, guys.
He has left his door open.
He left his door open?
Oh, no, yeah. He was in a rush.
Amazing.
It's just cracked open a little bit.
I'll just...
Get on our hands and knees and look in the gnome's door.
Yeah, just have a little peek. Do you know what I mean? You never know. I will just sort of peek my head in through the door.
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking for some keys. Looking for some any keys, maps. Like if I can find anything that would look like a layout of the grounds generally.
Yep.
And if there's anything rare or valuable, maybe as well.
You poke your head in. Roll an investigation check.
And they're the rolls. They do continue. That's a 7.
A 7. Okay. You look
Rami,
around.
do you want to have a look as well?
You certainly can. Blaven, you do not really find anything. It's a fairly standard little house. There's no keys on the table or anything like that. Yeah, it seems pretty benign.
At least decorate a bit. It's bland in here, isn't it? Jeez.
He does have some flower arrangements on the mantelpiece.
Okay.
He's a slightly smaller character. I'm also going to take a look and see if perhaps I can get a better vantage.
All right, go ahead and roll investigation.
Okay, 19 plus...
Ooh.
-1. I'm not a good rogue. 18.
An 18, though. Okay. You poke your head in after Blaven kind of comes out and saying there's nothing there. And you notice there's a little stack of papers on the table that was kind of obscured by a plate and a cup. that had been set there.
Can I reach them?
Yep, you kind of reach over and kind of thumb through them. And you pull out one that looks to be sort of a landscaping plan for the main grounds. It depicts where the house is, kind of at the top of the paper, and then it shows kind of the different pathways and the different shrubs and everything that are kind of positioned in the main courtyard. And you get a fairly decent map of the main house, or the main exterior.
Is it just the front of the building, or
It's just the it's just the front. So at the bottom, you see where there's a little sign that says gate, and then you see kind of the way all the shrubs are laid out and everything, the different pathways, little fountain in the middle, and then the main door at the top.
Like go around, because like the buildings at the top, do the pathways go all the way around, or is it just like up the front to the entrance?
It looks as if when you go in, there is almost like a small gardens right there in the beginning. Like there's landscaping, all the way side to side in the house, fencing that goes all the way around. But there's multiple paths that go through, and different trees and shrubs that are planted in like kind of these symmetrical designs around the front.
Okay.
Do you show me, I guess?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, that'll do. Should we close Frank's door? I don't know if there's much crime here, but I don't want him to actually get robbed. Do you know what I mean?
We intimidated the poor guy. It's the least we can do.
Yeah, probably. Hey, look, the gardens are gonna look mint though when we go there later. No, I'll just close the door.
All right.
I guess we should probably try and find Lili and hatch a plan.
Yeah.
Easy enough to do. You all are easy enough to find each other here in this
We
small
literally
town.
just have to scan at eye height and we will see.
It's like when you're shopping with someone and you're looking at the aisles and their head just pokes right above.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
All right, well, I'm wondering whether maybe we should see if we can get like a room or something. I just think in terms of, I don't know who around here is working for whom. And I'd rather the specifics of this plan is not divulged to the town.
Well, do we know how we're going to get to this place yet?
Is it via
Your
water?
gentleman friend.
It's on island.
It's on a like maybe the second or third like small island that we're talking like 10, 15 feet distances from like spot to spot that are connected by bridges. So
Okay.
it's not far off of the main coast. It's just kind of, you could almost imagine that it was dug out trenches in some respect even.
Sure. DM, this is a your discretion thing here, but I have the smuggler backstory, and so it basically says that by your discretion, I can try and find a safe house. It's nothing flashy, but it's like a secure location.
Yep.
For which you can operate out of. I don't know if there's a way that I can maybe roll investigation, or I can chat to someone, see if I can locate myself a little, or us say somewhere we can talk.
Sure. I would say indicate who you want to talk to, and then we'll roll. That'll set the DC, and we'll roll an investigation or a persuasion check based on that.
Okay, I'm gonna have a
Say
look
persuasion.
around. Yeah, okay, I'm gonna have a look around, and I'm gonna see if I can find. I'm just gonna see if I can find anyone who looks like they have stuff to hide, like potentially nefarious. Maybe someone, if they're selling some slightly iffy goods, someone who's maybe dealing in some potions they shouldn't be, that kind of thing.
Sure.
And yeah, I'll sort of approach them using all of the sort of learned how I would feel someone approaching me when I'm selling my definitely knockoff goods.
Sure. There's one stall that the man behind it looks to be potentially human, but a little shorter, a little stockier, but not quite a halfling. And he is just kind of sitting there with his arms crossed, and no one's kind of coming up to his stall. And you see like a variety of different knives that are being sold, which isn't like too standoutish in and of itself, but the fact that like he just is sitting there doesn't seem to be really caring or like trying to hawk them or anything is a little odd.
Okay, I'm gonna like walk up to him and just say, the winds in this town blow in a strange direction. I can't help but feel uneasy. And I'm gonna say in thieves' cant through that language, basically safe house. Is there a safe house here? I don't know if he'll pick up on it, but we'll see.
Go ahead and roll. We'll say a persuasion check.
Cool. What's my persuasion? Okay, 17.
17.
12 plus 5.
Okay. Kind of turns and gives you a look. I mean, the air comes in off the coast. Funny sometimes, wouldn't you imagine? I suppose, well, seagull's wing does tend to flap in the most northern direction. He like does not make eye contact with you while he says that, but but
I'm also just as aloof, just looking.
But via thieves can't. He indicated with the northern drop, north side of the town is where you would find something.
Perfect. Cool. I will. I'll palm him a gold piece in as gratitude.
Okay.
But again, and
he doesn't acknowledge it. He takes it, but doesn't acknowledge you.
Yeah. Perfect. I'll just signal to the other two that I think I might have somewhere we can gather ourselves. And I will head to the north part of the town.
Okay.
Yeah.
Heading north, you go past the tavern, you go past some of the different residences, and you eventually come to it kind of tucked in a little bit of more trees. This not shed, but like almost like small cabin that looks like it's been frequented every once in a while, but like no one's really like there's nothing lit, there's no fire going, but it doesn't look completely run down either. It just looks kind of unused at the moment.
Perfect. Yeah, I'll just give it a quick kind of glance over just to make sure it's like any traps or something.
Sure.
Inside.
Roll investigation.
2. Shouldn't have bothered.
Okay. It looks clean.
Cool.
Doesn't look like there's anything there.
This looks lovely. I'll get my barrel off my back. Here we are. I'm gonna crack the barrel open. There's just like loads of like fish and stuff in here, and I just root around inside. And I'm like, all right, okay, I'll probably need this. And I just start pulling out like loads of like thieves' tools and like weaponry, like daggers, etc., just hidden in this barrel of fish, and it really stinks.
It's incredible.
Hey, look, you don't get searched because no one wants to look in here. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, I just start getting myself ready.
Okay.
And then, Lili, we found a map. I'll have a look.
Well now.
Did you find anything useful?
So what I have learned is that the housekeeper is in charge of cleaning the safe every day. So, what that means is if we could watch her, observe her somehow while she's in the house, we can follow her to the safe, and while she's cleaning it, we can get in, get what we need, and get out.
All right, well, I have this ability to turn invisible, so potentially it could be a way I could sneak in potentially with or sort of behind her and make sure the door stays open.
I also have the invisibility spell.
Excellent.
So,
most useful. Now, how are we imagining getting into the house or getting up onto the island itself without being seen? I feel like that's going to be very difficult, even by the cover of night.
Noting, I don't have a spell of invisibility.
That's all right.
I'm sure I can make it work for the both of us. I have sorcery points.
I'm sure he would appreciate on his property.
What are these points you speak of?
It's just terminology we use back home.
Sure. Can DM? Can we be taking like a short rest?
Sure.
Potentially during this time, just whilst we're talking a plan.
Easy enough.
So
You spend an
my...
hour, planning and get a short rest in via that.
I kind of imagine we'd want to set off probably at night anyway, so we'd probably just wait until.
Yep, and if we want to you can do your planning. We can fast forward to nighttime unless you need to do something else. So.
You're saying how we should get onto the island.
Yeah.
Isn't there a shipyard? Didn't your gentleman friend, Lily?
Gentleman caller.
Didn't he mention that he works on the ships during the day?
He did, yes. So, are you thinking we should ask him to take us out there, or are you suggesting we just go to the place he indicated?
We could try either route. What do you think? Would he be convinced enough to follow us? And would he be a liability? Or should we simply find his place of work and see if it's guarded at night?
Oh, sweetheart, I think I could get him to follow me anywhere. But the question is, as you said, is he a liability?
Well, if he takes us only as far as the shipyard and we don't divulge any information as to what we would be doing there, then I don't see any issue.
Nor do I.
Well, we should be able to find the shipyard without any help, is the thing.
But he might be able to, get us onto a ship, perhaps, without us having to act too nefariously. I feel the hackles are raised of this town already, so...
But the more people we have with us, the more difficult it becomes. If we can slip down there at night, under cover of darkness, they're not going to be going out. They won't even be going fishing until about 3 o'clock in the morning. We could probably just sneak a small boat and slip away before they even notice. But if we get another stranger with us, especially if he's used to staying in that fine establishment all night, they might notice he's missing.
No, that's true. And I would feel bad if he ended up getting killed or something. So yeah, right.
Yes, he seems nice. Poor thing.
All right, well, I like that then. So we'll go down to the dockyard. We'll steal ourselves a boat by the cover of night, and then I guess we try and scale this wall. I've got some rope, so that's always helpful. And
see what we can see.
Make our way through the gardens. I don't know of any other entrances other than the front door, and I feel like that would be a terrible decision.
One does not simply walk in the front door.
Exactly that.
And if I know dragons, there will not be just one entrance to his lair.
Very well. So, I see quite a lot of shrubbery we could sneak around behind while we try to find another entrance.
Yeah, that could work, for sure.
Not that we're very good at sneaking, I think, in this group, but we can try.
I mean, we could potentially see if we could find a way onto the back of that island. I mean, I feel like that's going to be much less guarded than the front.
Are either of y'all any good at using boats?
Small vessels. I trade usually off of a boat, so sure I could steer it at least. I actually do have a proficiency with water vehicles, is what I'm trying to say.
I'm strong enough to help at least row.
So do we want to take a small vehicle of some kind and try to land on the back of the island rather than approaching across the bridge?
Yeah, I reckon so.
If anything,
It gives us the added benefit of if we need to make a quick escape, we have a boat that we can slip away on instead of having to run across the bridge,
Exactly,
which makes us open targets. Rami, were you starting to say something there?
I was thinking, even if we do end up having to approach at some point from the front, perhaps this would at least be a bit of a reconnaissance mission, even if we aren't able to get in the dead of night.
Yeah, I like that idea. If an opportunity presents itself, then we shall take it, and if not, then we can, yeah, exactly, like you said, come back another time. Shall we get ourselves ready then and head off?
I'm ready when y'all are. I don't particularly like sitting around on my hands.
Well, listen, I have a feeling that if we were to be able to provide some, quid pro quo for some of the townsfolk, that they might aid us in our escape. So what I'm wondering is whether maybe I go and pay a little visit to the old tavern keeper, see if he could potentially be nearby with some form of inauspicious transportation for us to get away on.
And we bring back the deed to his establishment, things like that?
Exactly that, yeah. Just a way of us moving through the town without ruining any eyes, shall we say, if we were to be a bit louder inside the house. And then if they came looking for us, we could move away quickly.
This makes sense to me. I like the way you think.
Marvellous.
Not the way you smell, but the way you think.
Nope, that's fair. I do stink of fish. During this time, I basically want to take like a sort of a decent sort of handful of flour,
Okay.
and sort of put it in, wrap it in the fabric, and like tie it off. And so if I sort of tap it, like a lot of flour comes out.
Okay.
I want to basically make like 2 or 3 of those.
Sure.
If I can.
Easy enough to do. Yeah.
And I'll just sort of stuff those sort of in a pocket, and then I'll make my way back to the tavern keeper, and yeah, I'll make my way back to the tavern keeper.
Okay. It's starting to get late in the day. He is getting ready for kind of dinner rush or whatever. And so he's kind of busy, setting up things and getting drinks for people who are starting to come in. He sees you come in and kind of gives you a nod, but continues about his work.
I'll just go and sit at the bar and just sort of, I'll order a drink and make it look like... I'll try and make it look like I'm not speaking to him whilst speaking to him.
Sounds good.
And I'm basically just going to... Do you use horses or anything like that for transporting your goods, fine sir?
It's mostly by boat. There's a couple carriages and wagons for, if we have to take things up the coast by road.
Do you have access to a carriage? Could you gain access to a carriage?
Probably, yeah.
All right. So, down at the shipyard, say in, I don't know, give it a couple hours, maybe 4 hours or so. If you could be there with a carriage, I might have a little piece of paper for you. Liberate you from your current situation, if you know what I mean, and maybe even a few bits of gold as well. And all I would need... This
is the help you were
this is the help I was talking about, yeah.
Okay.
And all I would need is for you to take me and my friends, with the help of the carriage, of course, just up north through the town, inconspicuously.
Okay. Carriage was probably the wrong word to use. It's going to be a wagon.
Right.
Is that...
Can we lie down in the wagon?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Put a blanket
Throw a sheet
you.
over us, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
All right. Get a wagon with some sheets, and I'm just gonna hard eyeball this guy, and I want to see if there's even the slightest hint that he might double cross us.
Okay. Roll an insight check.
That is a 9. So,
9. Okay. It's tough to read because he's doing the same thing you're doing, and like no eye contact, like kind of talking out the side of his mouth, turning away, and so it's hard to get a bead on him. As best you can tell, he's on board.
Well, I'll slip him a gold anyway for hopefully it might help him with the procurement of the wagon, etc.
Okay.
And say, all right, give it 2 hours and wait for us. We'll be there.
You got it.
Cool. And then I will. Yeah, I'll take my leave.
Okay. You head back up to the cabin in the woods and meet up with your compatriots. I'm gonna walk in a bit excited, and be like, oh, "We got a getaway driver."
Wonderful. Well done.
Night is falling. and the manor awaits.